Okay, picture this. You're racing to finish a presentation.
Yeah.
And your computer just decides to completely freeze.
Oh, I've been there.
Or maybe you're on an important video call and bam, the internet's out.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's not just annoying, is it? Like those minutes of downtime, they actually add up.
Yeah, big time.
And it ends up costing businesses a lot of money.
You're absolutely right. And, it's easy to kind of downplay it like, it's just a few minutes here or there. But our new report here at CloudSecureTech,
oh, cool.
we took a deep dive into all the big IT downtime culprits of 2024.
Okay.
And the numbers, let me tell you, pretty eye-opening.
I bet. So we're gonna break it all down today, right? Yeah. So you can ace that meeting on IT resilience you've got coming up.
You got it. So first, the big picture, right? Like, how bad is it really? Well, the average business is losing 15.3 minutes.
Per employee.
Every single day.
Per employee. Wow.
Just because of IT downtime. Now, that might not sound like a ton, but think about it. If you've got 100 people in your company,
right, that's
over 25 working hours.
Gone.
Poof. Gone every day. And when you look at it over the whole year, that's over 6,630 hours wasted.
That's more than just a minor inconvenience then, isn't it?
Right. We're talking missed deadlines, frustrated clients, and it all adds up to some serious costs.
Yeah, for sure. So what are the worst offenders? What's causing all this downtime?
So one of the things that surprised us was just how bad network problems are.
Really?
They are the top culprit, hands down, causing a crazy average of 1,795.5 minutes of downtime per incident.
Per incident?
Per incident, yeah.
That's almost 30 hours from one network issue.
Right. Emails down, you can't get to your cloud apps.
Yeah.
Work just stops.
Right, everything grinds to a halt.
It's because one little router issue can just cascade through the whole organization.
Yeah, I remember this one time.
Oh, tell me.
The Wi-Fi in our office went out right before we were supposed to launch this big new product.
Oh, no.
It was chaos. Trying to find other ways to talk to each other, share files.
Yeah, trying to keep things moving.
It was a nightmare, and everyone was stressed.
You see, that's what I mean about the ripple effect.
Right.
Impacts everything.
Yeah. So network issues are a big deal.
Huge.
What else should we be worried about?
Well, something that's becoming more and more of a problem, especially now with so many people working remotely, is internet outages.
That makes sense.
So last year, in 2024, internet outages caused an average 1,157.1 minutes of downtime.
Per incident?
Per incident.
So that's almost 20 hours each time the internet goes down.
I know. It's rough. And it's worse now because if you're not in the office and your connection drops...
You're done.
You're done, yeah. Missing deadlines, meetings disappear, your collaboration tools are useless.
It's not just the lost time, though, right? It's got to be more than that.
You got it. There are all these hidden costs.
Like what?
Well, say you rely on some cloud-based software to, keep production moving.
Right.
Even a short outage can delay the whole schedule.
Makes sense. So what can we do about it? Are there ways to protect ourselves from these internet outages?
There are, yeah. The report talks about things like having a backup internet connection, what they call a failover.
Oh, okay.
So if your main one goes down, the backup kicks in automatically.
Interesting.
Or you can invest in business-grade internet, which is usually way more reliable than, the regular home internet packages.
Yeah, okay. So redundancy and quality are key when it comes to internet then.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've got network problems, internet outages. What other tech headaches are lurking out there waiting to ruin our day?
We can't forget about good old-fashioned server failures.
Oh, right, servers.
They might not happen as often as the network or internet going down.
Yeah.
But when they do,
oh,
it's bad. We're talking average downtime of 550 minutes per incident.
That's over 9 hours.
Yeah, and servers, they're like the heart of a lot of businesses.
I hear that, but I gotta admit, I don't really get why they're so important.
Think of them as the central hub for everything digital in your company.
Right.
They run your ERP software, your databases, your website, pretty much every application you need.
So when a server goes down, everything goes down.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like a domino effect.
Right.
And there are tons of reasons why they fail.
Like what?
Well, sometimes the hardware is just old and outdated. Sometimes there isn't enough capacity planned, for how much the company's using it. Sometimes it's just lack of maintenance or some weird technical glitch.
It's like that story I read about that company that lost millions because their server crashed during the their busiest time.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like every business's worst nightmare.
It shows how important it is to, manage your servers properly and have a backup plan in case things go wrong.
Right. Proactive server management is key. I'm hearing that. Okay. So far, we've talked about networks, internet, servers.
It's a lot.
What other villains are contributing to this downtime epidemic?
There's one that you might not expect. Software licensing issues.
Software licensing? Seriously?
I know, right? It sounds kind of boring compared to, servers crashing and networks going haywire.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah.
So how bad is it, really?
Well, it can cause an average of 435.7 minutes of downtime.
Whoa, hold on. Over 7 hours.
Yep, per incident.
That's a lot of time. What kind of issues are we even talking about here?
Things like licenses expiring, conflicts when you're trying to upgrade software, not having enough user accounts. It can really mess things up without, any obvious warning signs.
Like a silent productivity killer.
Exactly, lurking in the background.
Yeah, and then bam, everything stops working.
The worst part is it's often preventable.
Really?
Yeah, if you just keep track of your software assets and manage them properly.
So it's more of an organizational problem than a technical one.
A lot of times, yeah.
That's interesting. It sounds like being organized and planning ahead can really make a difference when it comes to minimizing downtime.
Absolutely, but there's one more culprit we got to talk about.
Okay, what's that?
Those little everyday tech annoyances. The stuff that happens to your computer or your devices.
Ah, you mean like the printer jams, the laptop crashes?
Exactly.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Those little things, they add up,
They do, they're annoying.
According to the report, printers are the worst.
Really?
Yeah, they cause an average of 365.
Network nightmares, server snafus, internet outages, even those pesky end-user device issues. Is there any hope for us? Is there anything we can do to fight back against all this downtime chaos?
There is, don't worry. The CloudSecureTech report actually highlights some practical solutions that can make a real difference.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me more about these solutions. What are they?
Well, the top three are system monitoring, user education, and standardized processes.
Okay, those sound promising. Let's dive into each one and see how they can help us reclaim those lost hours and get back to being productive.
Sounds good. Let's start with system monitoring.
Okay, let's do it.
So imagine you have this watchful eye constantly scanning your entire IT infrastructure, looking for any signs of trouble before they turn into major problems.
Okay, so it's like a digital smoke detector for your IT systems.
Exactly. It's all about early detection and prevention.
I like it. So how many companies are actually using this system monitoring thing?
Well, the report found that 44% of businesses,
44%.
yep, are actively using system monitoring tools and strategies.
That's almost half of the companies they surveyed.
Yeah, it's becoming pretty popular. Clearly, companies are realizing that being proactive is key to preventing downtime.
Makes sense. What kind of things can these monitoring systems actually detect?
Oh, all sorts of things. They can track server health, network stability, system performance, how much resources are being used, you name it. And if something starts to go wrong, the system immediately flags it.
Oh, I see. So it gives the IT team a chance to fix it before it causes a major outage.
Precisely. Instead of reacting to problems after they happen, they can address those warning signs and keep everything running smoothly.
That's got to save a ton of time and money in the long run.
It does, and a lot less stress, too.
For sure, especially for companies that rely heavily on technology for everything they do.
Yeah, absolutely. So system monitoring, powerful tool in the fight against downtime.
Okay, I'm sold. What about user education? How can empowering employees help reduce those tech disruptions?
Well, think about all those end-user device issues we talked about.
Yeah, the printer jams, the laptop blue screens, all that fun stuff.
Right, a lot of those happen because people just don't know what to do.
That's true. Sometimes it's something simple like forgetting a password or not knowing how to troubleshoot a printer issue.
Exactly. And those small things can turn into big problems if employees don't know how to handle them.
Right.
That's where user education comes in.
Okay, I'm following you. So how many companies are actually investing in user education programs?
The report says that 21.7% of businesses are making it a priority.
21.7%, that's pretty good.
It's a good sign. Companies are starting to realize that their employees can be a big help in preventing downtime.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What are some good user education strategies? What are companies actually doing?
Well, one approach is to create a knowledge base, with guides and tutorials that are easy to understand,
Oh, okay.
covering all the common tech issues and procedures.
So basically like a self-service portal where employees can find answers to their questions and troubleshoot problems without having to call IT for every little thing.
Exactly. That would be a game changer for everyone. Employees would feel more empowered, and IT would have more time to focus on the bigger, more complex issues.
Yeah, I can see that. It would create a more efficient and productive work environment overall.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got system monitoring at 44%, user education at 21.7%. That's over 65% of businesses taking proactive steps to minimize downtime.
That's great.
What about the other companies? What are they doing?
Well, there's this third strategy that's gaining traction, but not as fast as the other two.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this mystery strategy.
It's all about establishing standardized processes for IT management.
Standardized processes. That sounds a bit, well, a bit boring compared to those fancy monitoring systems and all those training programs.
I know, it might not sound as exciting, but trust me, standardized processes are super important. Think of it like creating a clear roadmap for handling everything IT related.
Okay, so it's about having a set of best practices that everyone follows.
Right, so you eliminate those inconsistencies that can lead to downtime and confusion.
Makes sense. So how many companies are using this approach?
Only about 3.6% right now.
3.6%, that's pretty low.
Yeah, but I think we'll see that number go up as companies realize how valuable it is to have those streamlined processes in place.
I can see that. Instead of always reacting to problems, IT teams can focus on being proactive and constantly improving things.
Exactly. It's like building a solid foundation for your IT infrastructure.
Right, it might not be glamorous, but it's essential.
Totally. Now, you might be wondering why this strategy isn't as popular as system monitoring or user education.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking that. Why do you think that is?
Well, to be honest, it takes a bit more effort to implement standardized processes. You need to document everything, be consistent, and make sure everyone's on board.
That's like a cultural shift almost.
Yeah, it's not always easy, but it's worth it in the long run.
Okay, so we've got these three strategies: system monitoring, user education, and standardized processes. Do businesses have to use all three to, like, really combat downtime effectively?
They work best together, for sure, like a multi-layered defense against those tech gremlins.
Right.
You've got your systems monitored, your employees are in the know, and your processes are streamlined.
It's like having a well-trained army ready to defend against any downtime threat.
You got it.
But I guess not all businesses are the same, right?
Of course not. The right approach depends on the company's size, what industry they're in, and their specific needs.
Right. A small startup is going to have different needs than a giant corporation.
Exactly. The key is to figure out what your vulnerabilities are, where your pain points are, and then come up with a plan that addresses those specific issues.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Whoop.
It's about being strategic and choosing the right tools for the job.
Precisely. And remember, even small steps can make a difference. You don't have to do everything at once.
Right. It's all about progress, not perfection.
Exactly. Just be proactive and always look for ways to improve your IT resilience.
Okay, so we've talked about what causes downtime, how it impacts businesses, and what we can do to prevent it.
We have.
But there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to talk about: the human element.
Ah, yes, that's important.
We've talked about empowering employees, but how does downtime affect people on an individual level? Like, how does it make them feel?
That's a great question, and it's something that's often overlooked. Downtime isn't just a technical issue, it's a human issue, too.
Right, we tend to get caught up in the numbers and all the technical jargon,
Yeah.
but it's people who are actually affected by these disruptions.
Absolutely. When technology fails us, it can bring up a lot of negative emotions: frustration, stress, anxiety, even a feeling of helplessness.
Yeah, I think we've all felt that panic when our computer crashes or the internet goes down right before a deadline.
Oh, yeah, it's like a punch to the gut.
It is. And those feelings can really linger, impacting our mood and productivity long after the technical problem is fixed.
They do. And it's not just about individuals either. Downtime can mess with team dynamics, lead to miscommunication, missed deadlines.
Right, it can create a lot of tension and frustration.
Exactly. And that can damage morale, which is bad for the organization in the long run.
So it seems like minimizing downtime isn't just about implementing technical solutions. It's also about addressing the human impact of those disruptions.
You got it.
What can businesses do to mitigate that human cost of downtime? Like, how can they create a work environment where employees feel supported and empowered even when those tech gremlins strike?
Well, it all starts with communication. When there's an outage, be upfront with your employees about what's happening and what you're doing to fix it.
So it's about acknowledging the problem, keeping people in the loop, and managing expectations.
Exactly. Even a simple message like, hey, we know the network's down, we're working on it, can make a big difference in reducing anxiety.
Right. It shows you care and that you understand how downtime affects their work.
Right. But beyond communication, you got to create a culture that embraces flexibility and adaptability.
What do you mean by that?
Encourage employees to have backup plans for when things go wrong, like maybe they have a mobile hotspot or they know where to find a coffee shop with good Wi-Fi.
Right, so they're not completely stuck if the internet goes out at the office.
Exactly. And make sure they know what tasks they can do offline so they can still be productive.
So it's about empowering employees to be proactive and resourceful rather than feeling helpless when the tech fails them.
You got it. And give them the training and resources they need to troubleshoot those basic tech issues.
So they can fix things themselves
Yeah.
rather than always having to call IT.
Exactly. The more empowered they feel, the less stressed they'll be when things go wrong.
It's about changing that mindset from, oh no, everything's broken, to, okay, I got this, I know what to do.
Love it. That's the goal.
All right, so we've talked about the human side of things.
Important stuff.
We can't forget about the technology itself, right?
Of course not. We can't eliminate downtime completely,
Right.
but there are definitely tools and solutions that can help us minimize it.
Okay, so what are some of the latest and greatest advancements in downtime prevention? What should our listeners be keeping an eye on?
One area that's really taking off is AI and machine learning.
AI and machine learning. That sounds pretty futuristic. How are they being used to fight downtime?
Well, imagine a system that can actually predict outages before they happen.
Oh, hold on. Predict outages. How is that even possible?
It uses historical data and real-time monitoring to identify patterns and potential problems.
So it's like having a crystal ball for your IT systems.
Kind of, yeah. And these AI systems can also automate a lot of the tasks involved in downtime prevention, like patching vulnerabilities and optimizing performance.
So it's like having an army of digital assistants working behind the scenes to keep everything running smoothly.
You got it. And as AI and machine learning get more sophisticated, we can expect to see even bigger improvements in downtime prevention.
That's exciting to hear. It seems like technology is becoming both the problem and the solution when it comes to downtime.
It's true, but we can't forget about the human element.
Right, technology is important,
Yeah.
but it's up to us to use it wisely and create a culture that embraces resilience and adaptability.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into IT downtime, what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
First off, downtime is a big deal. It costs businesses money and it affects everyone.
Right.
But it's not a lost cause. If you understand the common causes, put proactive strategies in place, and use the latest technology.
You can make a big difference.
Exactly. And don't forget about the people involved. Be open and honest with your employees, create a flexible work environment, and empower them to handle those tech challenges.
Great advice. And to our listeners out there, remember, you're not alone in this battle against downtime. We all experience it.
We do.
But by understanding the challenges and the solutions, we can create a more resilient and productive digital world for everyone. All right, that's it for this part of our deep dive into IT downtime. We'll be back soon with more insights and practical tips to help you stay ahead of those tech gremlins. Until then, stay proactive, stay curious, and stay connected.
See you next time.